Good. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Matthew. This is Matt TV for a Thursday night, July 2nd, 2020, from beautiful White Rock, supernatural British Columbia. This Matt TV episode brought to you by StreamYard. So I'm on a StreamYard website. It is synced up with my Matt TV page, and this is my second episode doing a Matt TV on a laptop, so I am focusing very hard, I'll be honest, on the camera, the green light that is atop the laptop that I'm using right now. So if I do glance away, it is to simply read the comments, and that's pretty much it. And look at my notes. So let's get into this. This is not going to be a long show at all. And I put an invite up earlier. That because of StreamYard, I am able to have up to 10 people. So I could have potentially 9 other people join this broadcast. So like I've always said from the very beginning doing Matt TV, Facebook created Facebook Live. I created Matt TV. We've meshed them together. So they've offered a platform. I have a platform. So if at any time you want to come on Matt TV and talk about what's going on in your life, we'll definitely make that arrangement. 4-hour time difference. I have lots of free time on my hands right now, and I'll tell you why in a couple of moments. So let's get into the broadcast. And I think I'll be doing some more frequent Matt TVs, definitely in the month of July. But I appreciate the live views, and if you are watching this at your leisure, I appreciate those as well. And there's a quick story, pulled this out of the closet today, a quick story as to why I might be wearing, if you are a hockey fan, if you are just looking for different stories to follow throughout the world, a little more uplifting, would you know right offhand why I would be wearing a Vancouver Canucks jersey today? Is it because I had nothing else to wear, or was there some type of announcement made by the NHL that I could possibly be protesting? I don't know. No, I'm not protesting anything. But let's get into the show. This is Matthew. This is Matt TV. This episode of Matt TV is being powered by StreamYard. So what I like to do on every broadcast, I like to start off with what's happening here on the South Coast as far as weather. We are 2 days into July. Yesterday was overcast and rainy. It was one of the weirdest Canada days that I've ever been a part of. I was in Vancouver, but like I said, there were a few people kicking around, but everything seemed to be online, these virtual online get-togethers, which was great. Lots of entertainers putting their time and effort into entertaining us who are still at home. But it was just, you would have to admit perhaps that this was one of the strangest Canada Day celebrations, a lot of protests going on. And you can read all about that, see all about that on the news. There's not just protests happening south of the border, but there's stuff going on here in Canada as well. As we celebrated, some of us did, celebrated 153 years, Canada's birthday yesterday. But like I said, just a very strange atmosphere. And on the way home last night, leaving the city maybe 7 o'clock last night, very dark. I've never seen dark clouds be so low and so ominous, looking like it's just going to dump buckets but not do anything. There was no rain, there was no thunder, there was no lightning. It was just a really dark presence over the city of Vancouver last night. Very strange. Like I said, a very strange Canada Day, but I'll tell you a little bit more about how I spent that as the show goes along. There's no set time how long I'm going to be in here. I just appreciate the live views. And again, if you're watching this at your leisure, on your own spare time during this quarantine, pandemic kind of time that we're living in, I appreciate that as well. And if you like and see what you hear at any time, just share the video. Never asking for money, never asking anyone for money. So overcast here tonight. There's probably going to be rain overnight, clouds tomorrow. Then we'll get a couple of days of sunshine on the weekend, and then back to overcast conditions. So the month of June weather, I would give it a C plus. Wasn't great. Definitely, I can't remember the last time we had a hot spell of weather, which is the complete opposite of what is happening back on the East Coast. They have been having a heat wave. I don't know if it's still being categorized as a heat wave right now, but the temperatures and the weather are definitely far better on the East Coast than they are here on the West Coast. So what's the weather like in your neck of the woods? Are you getting some vacation time? Or are you just on some time off that was unplanned, unexpected, and unfortunate? Yes, I now fall into that category, and I'll tell you about it as the show goes along. So enjoy the warm weather back on the East Coast. Just remember something that we were taught, and hopefully is still up here in the front of your mind. Stay hydrated, put on the sunscreen, seek out the shade, do what you have to do. You don't have to be out in the sun. Minutes of exposure, and you'll feel the effects of the rays. Yes. So here it is, the second day of July. This is my first show that I have done since being released from the company that I work with. And a couple of things happened. My contract ran out with the company, and the company's contract with the municipality of Surrey was not renewed. So it would have come to an end anyway. So I will continue to find work. I'm not quite sure how the month of July is going to play out. It's the second day. I will discuss some things with Jen later on tonight, but I'm just waiting to get my final hours submitted and get my final pay and get all that stuff sent to government, and we'll just go from there. But don't worry about me, because like I've always said, for those that want to work and are willing to work, you'll find work. It may not be what you want to do, but in the meantime, you have to be doing something to be paying the bills. Yes. Mr. Nick Moulet, welcome to the broadcast. So don't worry about me. My final day of work, which was on Tuesday, me, Larry, and James, we went out, we did some work. We put in a couple residential meters. We put another meter in an existing housing pit, which means nothing to you. And we ended the day in the lunchroom. Another coworker, Crispo, brought us one of his favorite dishes. He's from the Philippines. So he made a dish, brought it in. And for the last hour and a half of the day, we just kind of sat around and joked and told stories. And then we all went our separate ways. I will be returning the truck to work tomorrow. So by this time tomorrow, I will have cleaned my hands, so to speak, with my time with Iconics Waterworks. But that being said, we'll see what happens a few months down the road. Maybe the tender for the contract goes back out. In a nutshell, I'm sure that if something was to happen where they needed to call some of us back, Iconics would be on the phone wanting me to come back. So don't worry about me. Things are okay. And I'll talk about my health. I do have a couple of health appointments that I'll talk about in a couple of moments. And before this broadcast at 5 o'clock tonight Pacific, which is 9 o'clock Atlantic time, Brent and Patty Underhill were doing their weekly, the nightcap with Brent and Patty. And I was shocked. I don't get a chance to see them a lot, but I always enjoy when I do tune in. And two things that were, one was really cool. One of the boys, Mike, was going to bed because he has to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, giving each Brent and Patty a hug. That's always nice to see. And learning that Patty lost her job and Brent lost his job. And now I'm out of work. So I totally get it. It's just at some point you may potentially become a victim of COVID-19 or any of the other 18 ways that you may want to say it. I don't know. I just know one. So my thoughts with Brent and Patty, like I said, if you want to work, you'll find something. It may not be what you want to do, but the drive to work to pay bills will always be in you. Yes. I do believe. Again, anyone who's watching MattTV for the first time, I'll just fill you in. I've just written some notes down, things that have happened to me, observations that I have seen, conversations that I've been a part of, and I'm just sitting down here in front of this laptop, conversing with you. So if you want to fill in the blanks and tell me what's happening on your end, that would be great. That would be great. Crisis. I think you make your own crisis, and a lot of the crisis that they are dealing with, the crisis starts right up here. It starts right up here with not being in the moment and creating scenarios that don't exist. Scenarios that don't exist will always cause you stress because you're always going to think of the worst case scenario. And then when it does happen, 9 times out of 10, you think, wow, that didn't go as bad as I thought it was going to go. So stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. That's the best advice that I can give you. So a quick visit into the city yesterday. I had a great, yesterday was just a great day. I was video chatting with a friend of mine who is in Fairfield, Maine, which is just outside of Perth, Andover, New Brunswick. So my day started off with a great conversation, just getting caught up. This friend of mine, almost 30 years of friendship. So nice to get caught up. Then I went into the city to meet up with Dave Keenan. But before that, I met up with Etienne, former co-worker, and his girlfriend, Julie. We went for a Japanese buffet, and it was spectacular. One of the best meals I've had in a long time. Not a buffet where you go up and actually get the food. You just sit down, you order, and they bring the food to you. And it was fast service. Within 5 minutes, the table was just full of food. So just very thankful that I was able to have the opportunity to get together with those two, be able to have the funds to be able to go out and just eat as much food as I possibly can. So just, there's so many people out there who just are not in that position. So when you get in that position, make sure that you say your thank yous and just bless those that are not as fortunate. Okay. And just don't be a glutton. Don't be a glutton. So that was fun. Great to hang out with Etienne and his girlfriend, Julie. Continued on into the city to hang out with DMFK. Just walking around the city, took the dogs to the dog park, and then it was back on public transit and back out here. So any opportunity I get. And I said this to Keenan yesterday, how lucky, and I can only speak for myself, but I consider myself very lucky that I have the opportunity to travel 45 minutes and be able to hang out with Dave Keenan, who is a childhood buddy who I've known for almost 3 decades, probably over 3 decades. Easily, I've known Keenan for over 3 decades. So the fact that him and I have transplanted ourselves out here on the West Coast, almost as far as you can go without living on the island, as far as you can go from the East Coast to the West Coast. But to be able to hang out with Dave Keenan on a regular basis is truly a blessing. For the record, a blessing. Good stuff. Let's see, Nick is in here. I was going through, I just wanted to try and recap the last time I did a show on here, and the last time I had a guest on here was using the StreamYard, and I'm so thankful that Tom McNicholas pointed this out to me. So this is on a StreamYard page, but it's synced up with my MattTV. So, and Nick was my first guest using the StreamYard, and he pointed out that it was his 12th appearance. It was his 12th time on the show, but not necessarily physically seeing him 12 times on the show through a split screen, because I know we've done conversations over the phone as well. So when I get to a point where I can give awards out for guest who's been on MattTV the most, Nick, you are already far away the leader. The leader. Okay, I want to bring you up to speed here. 6:15. I might be in here for another 5-10 minutes. Definitely we'll be out of here before 6:30. And again, if you're just cruising through your newsfeed, this is Matthew. This is MattTV on Facebook Live with this episode powered by StreamYard, so I can do split screen. I can have up to 9 people on this broadcast. If people wanted to come on here at any time, you could just send me a message and say, hey, I'd love to come on your show, do a split screen. I want to say hi to someone, or I want to discuss something. You just have to let me know. I can send you an invitation, and bada bing, bada boom. You're in the game. You're in the game. I just want to bring you up to speed quickly on my health. I feel healthy right now. I was experiencing some weirdness with my arms, with hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. A few weeks ago, I did have a test where they hooked up electrodes to my arms and did some shocking. They did mention carpal tunnel. I was speaking with an individual today on July 7th, At 6:30 in the morning, I will be going to Jim Pattison Outpatients Facility up in Surrey, where they will be hooking electrodes up to my head and checking out my brain waves there. And then later on in August, August 10th, I will have an MRI just up the road at Peace Arts Hospital. So just to give you an idea of what's happening with my health and whatnot. So I'm actually really excited. I was just messaging my own family members just to bring them up to speed and what was going on. And as far as the MRI, I've said this before, I have had 7 or 8 significant blows to the head. So I'm definitely interested in the MRI, not so much for anything significant. I honestly don't want them to find anything, but I would like a snapshot of the scan for a wallpaper on my phone. So MRI scheduled for August 10th. This is some interesting stuff, and there's a lot of topics, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking here tonight, but it's not really a lot of substance. There's not really a lot of substance in the show tonight, but this was on Facebook, just in the news feed, and I want to give you some interesting trivia, especially to my American viewers and those that aren't in North America, those that have never been to the East Coast, never been to New Brunswick, never been to Heartland, because in Heartland, New Brunswick is one of the coolest things you'll ever see. It is home to the world's longest covered bridge. And here's some interesting facts that I did not know about the longest. It's the longest covered bridge in the world. And here's some numbers, some dates that you might want to jot down, because it's quite interesting, especially those that live in the Heartland area who get to drive over this historic monument every single day. It officially opened, again, I'm talking about the Heartland Covered Bridge. I apologize for looking away. I'm just looking at my notes, but it officially opened July 4th, 1901. Now, I should tell you that the length of the Heartland Covered Bridge, which is the world's longest covered bridge, is 1,282 feet. I believe, I'm almost certain that if you were to stand this bridge upright, that it would be a few feet taller than the Empire State Building, just to give you an idea of how tall or how long this structure is. So officially opened July 4th, 1901. Now, I didn't know this, but on April 6, 1920, 2 spans of the bridge were taken out by the ice flow. It was fixed, it was rebuilt, and in 1922, so 2 years later, the government, as part of the rebuilding of the bridge, covered it. So it was in 1922 that the government had the bridge covered. I did not know that. A sidewalk was added in 1945. On June 23rd, 1980, it was declared a National Historic Site. And on September 15th, which is my sister's birthday, September 15th, 1999, it was declared a Provincial Historical Site. I'm talking about the Heartland Covered Bridge, the world's longest covered bridge. Thank you. Thank you. Just a few more things, then I'm out of here. I'll be working on a commercial voice demo this month. Hopefully I'll get together with James Mayer. We're going to do that. The flag will be in the Maritimes sometime next week. It's so hard to part with it, but it will be in the mail here in a few days. It's heading to the Fredericton area and then on to Nova Scotia. So I'm looking forward to that. And the reason I'm wearing this, there was a report today that the NHL, when they proceed with the end of the regular season, or however it's going to play out, the 2 hub cities that have been chosen are Edmonton and Toronto, which is why I'm wearing this. I don't understand why they chose Edmonton over Vancouver. But it does say something for the nation of Canada to have been chosen. If you just look at what's going on in the United States, yes, these are the obvious choices, but the larger argument is it really necessary? Is it necessary to have a 2020 NHL season? I'll leave that up to you. For me, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's worth the risk. Final thing before I get out of here. Like I said a few moments ago, the invitation is always there for you to join MattTV whenever you want to. We're always flexible here. The staff is pretty good, even though most of my viewers are 4 hours, 4.5 hour time difference. Weekends work well for me. I will be doing something, a project with Donna McGinnis, which is Simon's wife. In Newfoundland, going to be working on a project with her in the next few days, the next week or so. We're just waiting on some things. So I'm excited about that. But I can tell you that coming up on Sunday, just in a few days, I will be speaking with Aaron Boma from Woodstock, New Brunswick, or just on the outskirts. He's out in the rural outskirts of Woodstock. But I'll be speaking with Aaron Boma on Sunday on another MattTV episode powered by StreamYard. So I'm looking forward to that. What time do we have here? 20 after. Okay. 20 minutes is good enough for me. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back in here on Sunday. Sunday. This is Matthew. This is MattTV. Now and always from sea to sea.